Okay, good morning. Grade 11. So, this is going to be kind of a review slash newish lesson. Because what we were doing was just doing individual loops. Now what we're going to do is what we're called nesting them, and nesting them just means putting one inside of another. So it's going to be kind of a dual-edged sword here because we're able to learn the new stuff while reviewing the old stuff. Remember, everything's formative on there right now. When I do post a summative, it'll just be the same as it's always been. But I strongly recommend now, more than ever, doing these practice ones because that's probably the easiest way to keep at this. And I'm not there physically to help you with anything. So definitely try those before you try the hardest ones, which will be the ones on the assignment. So, trying to follow the same format here. Let's say April 6th. So, when we're doing our while loops, remember that while loops need a condition to run. So usually we ask for user input. And basically, our most basic loops have been like, do you want to run this program? So I'm going to make a program that does the multiplication table of a certain value that they type in. So first thing we're going to ask is, so ask for user input to run again. So I'm going to call it run again is equal to input, and then just type in our prompt here. To print I guess I can make this full screen to make it a bit easier. I'll increase the font size too. Sorry. 14. I can go bigger on this screen. Perfect. All right, and we're going to force it to be lowercase as well. So all we have to do is dot lower, like that. So put a question mark here as well, and then a space. Now I'm going to say while run again equals the word yes, or run again equals a y. This is where, that's basically, remember how our while loop's going to run. And the last thing we're going to have here is ask the question again. Because if we don't ask the question again, then our loop will run forever, which we don't want because then it's harder to quit. So then I'm just going to copy this, paste it here, and then instead of being the same question again, because that just looks really lazy, right? You want to ask, do you want to run the program to print? Do you want to run the program again to print some new multiplication? So we're going to add some code up here, but basically this should be the last thing we do before it leaves the loop and it would be over. So this is where leaves the loop. For example, they say no. And then here, we're just going to print, okay, bye. In here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the number that they want to find the multiplication for. So multiplication is going to be equal to int input, because we're going to get a number here. I got a quieter keyboard, by the way. So this is probably not the best variable name, but I'm getting back into the swing of things here. But basically, we're going to ask it the same sort of prompt. What do you want to find multiplication for? I'm also going to find out how far they want to go. So end. I'm going to go with int input where would you like to end? Now, to make it look a little bit nicer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in here, I got to be able to type now, just a random print. Now this will force it to have just a space in between. So then it doesn't look like there's just text. Because if not, it really gets clumped together as we're going to start to do more intense stuff after this. You want to just start adding in these manual spaces to help out. And you can do 2 of them if you really want like double space. Obviously, we could put in a time.sleep. Not doing that right now. But what I'm going to do here is now in this loop, because I want them to all just print out automatically, this is where I'm going to use for. And it'll be x in range. And basically, I want it to go from, like, so you see here in the yellow text, we can just put in the stop amount, which is our end, which we have here. Or what we can do is if we knew we wanted to only print out part of the multiplication table, so say we wanted, obviously, 0 to say 10, some of us, we can do that in our heads, no problem. If we wanted to go from like 20 to 40, we could do that. We could do it, start at 20, go to 40, and then a step can be, say we wanted to go up by 2s, go up by 3s. And that was in our last note. I think there was an actual practice for you to do with that. But for this one, for now, I'm just going to go to the end. And then here, I'm just going to print. And then basically I want to put down the number times, like so we can do the print. Is it F like this? I'm just going to forget how to print F right now, so I'm just going to print it normally. Oh, no, I don't want it to be in. Oh my gosh. Today my typing is terrible. So this is going to show up as, say I typed in 3 for multiplication, it'll be 3 times. First one's going to start at 0. Now, because I don't really want to start at 0, I'm going to start at 1 and go up to whatever they say plus 1 more. So it's going to go 3 times 1. And then it's going to have equals here. And then what I'm going to do in brackets is actually do the multiplication. So multiplication times x. And one more bracket. So this here should run it so then it goes from 1 to whatever they're asking it to go to. I will go back to this in a second, but I'm going to run this, save it as nested loops. this over on this side here. Okay, there. So do you want to run some multiplication? Yes. 5 times tables, where do I want to end? 15. So it goes from 1 to 15. Do I want to run it again? Sure. Let's do like 15 times tables. And we'll end at 20. Make it a little bit harder. You can see it's processing it, going through it. There's no time.sleep, so it is going in real time, which is not as instant as we think, but it does go pretty quickly. And then if I say no here, or if I said anything else, but we didn't sort of do an if and else in there, but that would end it. So that's the basics of how we do nested loops. I'm gonna leave it for there right now. I'm gonna try to do something a little bit harder later. I just want to give a basic one to kind of get you back into it. My suggestion would be do the while and for loop formative work if you didn't do that beforehand, and then start working on this one. Okay? Any questions, email.